Alright, hello guys, how's it going? In today's video, we're going to be taking a look at another major snowstorm potentially in the eastern United States. This could be one last one before we flip into that pattern that I talked about in yesterday's video. If you haven't seen that one, check it out because the pattern is going to flip in a huge way. But there is one last big ol' snowstorm on the way potentially for the East Coast. Anyways, before we get into things, be sure to smash that like button, leave a comment down below, and subscribe for more weather-related content. For today's comment of the day, I want to know, do you believe that this major snowstorm will occur? Let me know in the comments down below, and I'll be picking one of those for tomorrow's video. Well, there's two areas mainly of precipitation here. We see down here in Texas, we have quite a bit of precipitation going on, and then we have a lot of snowfall up here with a clipper system for portions of the Great Lakes and the upper Midwest, as well as the Ohio Valley. Let's take a look at these different areas. First off, we do have some snowfall showers going on up here for Montana. We can see these heading down through the eastern portions of the state. Snow and rain showers, that is, kind of north of I-94. So those are going to be quite minor and probably not accumulating at all. Now, on the back end of this snowstorm, we have had some snow showers in around, I would say, North Dakota and South Dakota for the most part. But the main event has really been here over the Ohio Valley, this big old area of snowfall going on for the Ohio Valley and the Great Lakes. That's states like Wisconsin, Iowa, Illinois, Indiana, Ohio, and even Michigan here as well. I would say probably 1 to 3 inches, maybe more, for a lot of these areas, especially these areas in here seem to have done the best so far. Chicago, it looks like you guys filled in and have gotten some pretty heavy snowfall. Even I would say south of Chicago in here has probably done quite nicely with this snowstorm. But we will only be able to tell, obviously, after the storm's all said and done. Now, as we head into these regions in here, we can see southern New England has had some snow showers and flurries around here for portions of southern New York. That includes Long Island, and then even portions of southern Connecticut as well. As we head up here to the kind of Catskills Mountains, I would say, near Albany as well. We've had some snowfall showers here around I-90 and I-88 as well, here near Hudson and Albany as well. Now, let's go ahead and take a look. I guess we skipped this over here, so let's take a look at these storms. And we can see a lot of this is transferring over from Mexico all the way up into Texas here. So these areas have been dealing with a lot of rainfall here over a pretty short period of time. You can see a lot of rainfall taking place here in Texas. Super interesting situation. Likely some showers, heavier showers, and even some thunderstorms as well going on. So there has been quite a bit of precipitation in these regions as well. So yeah, that's the entire United States right now. We have 2 storms going on mostly, and then some areas of precipitation outside of that. Now what we're going to do is we're going to move on and take a look at that modeled guidance and take a look at that potential huge snowstorm actually that the models are showing this weekend. Now this is the pattern we kind of find ourselves in. This is as of today. We have a trough in the east here still. Obviously you're feeling that outside probably. A bit of a ridge out west as well. So this is what our pattern currently looks like. And as we move this on, you can see we kind of dig deeper with this trough in the east, actually, and we get more of a pattern like this, which is an even deeper and colder pattern than what we're dealing with right now. Now, we do have a storm down here, and if this was to connect, this would also be a very big nor'easter snowstorm likely for these areas. But at this point, that kind of slides off innocently, and it kind of lingers around here, this energy, and what we see happen is it reforms here along the Florida coast. This is what eventually becomes our big old snowstorm. So let's continue this on. You see this, we have 2 areas of energy here and here. And what kind of happens is they come together, build something here, and then we see it head up. Typically you see something slide in, but it's not necessarily like that this time. It is a pretty interesting setup, but at this point, this is our 0Z European model. Look at this trough, guys, first off. That is just an amazing trough there and an amazing ridge in the west that we see by this point. And it heads up the coast, hardly bringing snowfall to the coast here. Very coastal. This storm is far offshore, but it's mostly these areas that I'm watching. I think this could be a New England special for sure because it heads much closer to the coast. 970, again, 970 millibars. That is extreme, obviously, at this point. Usually you're looking for like 990s or 980s in extreme cases, but this is a 970 millibar low pressure center. and actually becomes a 967 by this point. Let's zoom into the east also. Let me backtrack. We'll zoom into the east and I'll backtrack a little bit. So we watch this play out again. So you see it comes together, 990 millibar low pressure center here. We do see some snowfall along the coast, like I said, but I really feel as though this could be a New England special because this is what the track does. It heads in like this, and then it kind of curves in towards New England, and that's what really brings a lot of snowfall to these areas. I mean, look at how heavy that is. Is that a 9? What is the pressure there? 957, and I swear that says 949. If that says 949, I'm going to be absolutely shocked. Yeah, 948.7 millibar low pressure center. I don't think that actually is going to happen, but that is an extremely strong storm at this point. And this would be a huge snowstorm for Boston, Providence, all of these regions especially. Just a really, really extreme storm. And then that eventually moves off. This is what we would be taking a look at as far as total snowfall. And obviously, this is just so crazy. A few inches here for these coastal regions. But again, it's the New England states where I think this storm would really shine according to this European model. So real quickly, if you're in the grays, a dusting, if anything, this is still pretty far out, but just bear with me. This is what the model's calling for right now. In the blues, 2 to approximately 6 inches of snowfall. The purples would be 6 to 10. Your pinks would be 10 to 20 inches of snow. The pastel blues in there, those very bright blues that you're seeing a thin band of, would be about 20 to 30 inches of snowfall. And then these areas here that turn into almost the darkish turquoise color slash kind of dark pink color there, that is where we're at 30 inches plus. But this model calls for a maximum of 44.4 inches of snowfall, somewhere in there. So this would be a general 20 to 40 inches of snowfall, maybe even 30 to 40 here in the center, if this model was correct, which should obviously be just a historic snowstorm. But at in the 940s, as far as the pressure is concerned, that is no surprise that it would be bringing this much snowfall, because that is an extreme amount of snowfall. Let's move back to our GFS. Let's compare and contrast. I think it's so important to get multiple opinions. And we've talked about how the GFS model's actually been doing a little bit better at times this winter. So we have a 993 millibar low pressure center, much closer to the coast. The European model's probably there. So we have about, I'd say, 200 or 300 miles difference here. We see snowfall very early on in this storm for the inland regions of the United States here, as you can see. And this one heads up the coast still as a 975 millibar low pressure center. So we see it do almost like this. But we do get mixing in these regions where the European model has the heaviest snowfall, and we see mostly an inland snowstorm here on the GFS model. Very interesting there, and that moves off. So let's take a look at the total snowfall here on this model as well. And as you can see, it's mostly for the more northern regions, but again, the blues is 2 to 6, purple 6 to 10, pinks would be 10 to 20, and then these pastel blues would be 20 to 30. And then we see the 30 to 40 inches in here for the interior New England region. So both have a very major snowstorm. Both are very different with what they're showing, but definitely a major snowstorm in both cases here. And for just to see, let's take a look at the Canadian model. Yeah, so the Canadian model looks a lot like kind of in between the two, but more like the GFS than the European model, I would say, here. But all three major models at this point do show a very, very major snowstorm, which is obviously super interesting, coming up just this weekend. It's Monday right now. This could change a lot. We're going to be tracking this over the coming week for sure. We will also continue to track that big pattern change that's coming up, but this should be accompanied with very, very intense cold air as well. So we're going to be watching for those types of impacts also. Just crazy stuff here, guys. Anyway, let's get straight into our confidence tab here. For today's confidence tab, we're at a 4 out of 6. I feel fairly confident in this storm because actually these models have been calling for this for quite a few days, and they are coming on board a bit. But if this winter has proven anything, it's proven that there is going to be big, big changes here at some point between now and the weekend, and we're going to have to watch for those big changes and see how things change. That's why it's so important to subscribe and keep up to date with every video we upload daily, because we're going to be tracking this storm over the coming week. So stick with us over this week, and we will continue to track those changes as they come. For today's comment of the day, I asked you guys, do you really think the pattern will change from what we're seeing now towards a much warmer pattern in the east and a much colder and more active pattern in the west? And James Marsh said, I believe it will switch, but by the time we reach the end of February, it will have flipped back. And I do think that is a possibility that at some point in late February or in March, we will see sort of a flip back to what we're kind of seeing now, which is cold in the east and a lot more activity, but only time will tell. For today's patron highlight of the day, I want to thank you all for supporting the channel, but especially our platinum patrons, Bill Crates, James Wade, Dovey Nagel, Little the Pan, Mandy Birchfield, Patrick Strickland, Dave Scott, and Donna Carnes as well. I would also like to thank our diamond patrons, Bill Roberts, Marcus Connolly, Noah Harlem, Kodalesa Catbite, Charles Tennant, Bill Dallas, Gary's, and John Colisi also. I would also like to thank our channel members, Catbite, Stephen Fan, and Jeremy Cox as well. Anyway guys, thank you so much for watching this video. Be sure to smash that like button, leave a comment down below, and subscribe for more weather-related content. I'll see you guys in the next video.